The Bahrain GP didn't exactly go according to Mercedes' plans, and it seems like the Brackley-based squad are destined yet again to face another difficult campaign. Expectations with the W15 was to establish themselves as the second best team in 2024, but the new problems within the W15 meant that they had to play second fiddle not only to Red Bull, but to Ferrari as well. Considering that both pre-season testing and free practice sessions went out well as the team expected, what went wrong with the W15 during the Grand Prix? More importantly, how are Mercedes going to fare around the Jeddah Corniche Circuit this Saturday? The 2024 Bahrain Grand Prix was similar to last year's race for Mercedes from a performance standpoint. While a fight with the Red Bulls was a far-fetched scenario for the Silver Arrows, Ferrari were definitely their target to beat, considering the better high fuel pace both Russell and Hamilton showcased during the free practice sessions. Yet, both Ferraris managing their own issues outpaced the lead Mercedes of George Russell, while Hamilton was not even close to the fighting picture at Bahrain. This was due to a variety of factors. For Hamilton, it started right from qualifying. Failing to match his teammates' single lap pace, qualifying P9 against Russell's P3. While the Brit accepted his part in this dull showing, making setup changes favouring better race conditions, we never got to see race-based compromise playing out in the actual race. For starters, Hamilton had a broken seat for over half of the race, while other issues ranging from overheating power unit up to under-delivering electronics hampered the Mercedes duo's race progress. This is quite a strange issue for Mercedes, considering the fact that a lot of work has been done around the W15 seating position, with the cockpit being moved 100mm rearwards compared to last year's W14. So, it seems though Mercedes are still in the loop, one they have been part of for the past 2 years, fixing one issue leading to the creation of another new issue within the car. Results from the season's opener proves why Hamilton opted the move to join Ferrari next season. But it's worth mentioning that the W15 is a car which has more or less developed around his needs. So that could mean 1, he is terrible at giving feedback to engineers, or 2, Mercedes has not been able to make all the changes both Hamilton and Russell have requested from the W15. I would like to side with the latter option, as that has been the case back in 2022 and 2023. When talking about the first race of the season, Hamilton was quite positive, considering that the car was much more to his liking than the W14. But the Brit was disappointed to not finish higher up the order, considering his setup sacrifice prioritising race pace, yet finishing P7 in a McLaren sandwich. We probably feel a bit of disappointment within the team. I was definitely hoping that we would be better this weekend than we were, Hamilton told Sky Sports F1. But it was a tough race. It was very close with everybody, and degradation is high with the car. There are plenty of areas we can improve. We were further back from the Red Bulls than we thought as well. While Hamilton did not provide exact reasons backing the W15's lack of competitive pace, Russell had all the answers we needed. Starting the Grand Prix third on the grid, his aim was to stick around the podium. And as he did, taking second from a struggling Charles Leclerc, and gapping Sergio Perez for a while, until the Mercedes power unit behind his head started to overheat, coupled with electrical components not providing enough persistence. As a result of running in the turbulent wake of the cars ahead, this became a problem on both Mercedes cars, bringing in reliability to question. Therefore, both Mercedes drivers had to run their cars at a lower power mode, resulting in the loss of a huge chunk of performance. We both faced a similar problem. For whatever reason, we had massive engine overheating and the battery wasn't working properly, said Russell. I made a really good start, got into second, and then was like, here we go. These big red alarms on my steering wheel. I had no battery left, went to turn my power down, and I was losing 4/10 just in power. It was so difficult holding them off. I'm surprised we managed to do it for the first 10 laps or so. Then we just went backwards thereafter. It was a shame we didn't show any real potential of this car, but a bit of a strange day. Power unit overheating could easily be linked to the car's brand new design, more specifically the car's distinct radiator inlets. One of the biggest changes Mercedes made for the W15 was the aerodynamic philosophy overhaul, which resulted in repackaging of the car's cooling system. Wolff shed some light on the W15's cooling troubles, mentioning that it was a team error in judgment regarding on how much cooling is enough. as the team opted for an aggressive cooling layout, considering Bahrain's unusual low temperatures. We got the cooling level wrong, and therefore you need to lift and coast and you lose performance in the tyres. So it was a bit of a vicious circle. It was odd. As the race unfolded, we had to lift and coast more to manage the temperatures on the power unit. We closed it up too much. That was the main issue. Then we didn't have the pace, weirdly. Bahrain being this new car's first race, there is still a lot to learn for Mercedes, but this is definitely not the start they were expecting. So, what can this mean for the upcoming Saudi Arabian Grand Prix? Last week's Bahrain race was unusually cold, but Jeddah, according to forecasts, is set to be a hot one, typical for a track located in the desert. Wolff was questioned on this, and on how much of a performance disadvantage Mercedes face due to running on detuned power. The Austrian mentioned that running the engine on a low power mode, combined with lift and coast, meant that they actually lost half a second of performance. Continuing, he said that the W15 can adapt to hotter conditions, but opening up the car's cooling package. "I'm sure we can get on top of the cooling," Wolff stated, "because it's a specification of how much you open the car up, and it's always a balancing act between do you want to lose half a tenth in performance by having less efficient aero and opening the slot gaps up against the cooling." It's all a learning curve for Mercedes with this new concept, as it has to catch up exactly 2 years of knowledge to its rivals. One race does not provide us with the team's exact competitive picture, but the team for sure is going to receive a lot of critiques for where they finished versus where they were projected to finish. Considering the data from pre-season testing and from the free practice sessions, the W15 had solid pace to take the podium finish, which was the case in the race's initial stage. But the team needs to have a reliable car to accomplish that, or for a fact, any such scenarios, as turning down the engine power to complete the race is not enough by Mercedes standards. But for now, luckily for Mercedes, in terms of the pecking order, they are not at a disadvantageous position currently. McLaren and Aston Martin, two of Mercedes' fiercest rivals, are in similar or worse positions when compared with the Silver Arrows. While McLaren were more or less doing similar times to Mercedes, Aston Martin was further back, with Alonso not even in the frame of the Mercedes-McLaren battle. It's race 1, and Mercedes find themselves in a small spot of bother. But what do you guys think? Does Bahrain represent the W15 full potential? Or is it just a blip in what is going to be a great season for the Silver Arrows? What are your expectations from Mercedes at the upcoming Saudi Arabian Grand Prix this weekend? We are very much into your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section down below. And on your way down,